Hi, this is Satish. Welcome to Sathya Technologies. So today we can see a new development process like DevOps. DevOps is combination of development and operations. So if you go with DevOps, if we have two different teams like development and operations, the dev team will develop a project and an ops team can manage the project. If you see, the dev team will gather client requirements and they will start coding and they will build, configure, test it. If you go with operations teams, they can deploy your project on server and they will operate it, then monitor. Okay. So here in monitoring, we can do health check. Okay. If you see one by one phase, so our dev team first they will gather client requirements for the project. Okay. So then they will start coding, they will design the code, okay, then they will build the code. So in case of build, they will compile our source code and they will prepare packages like vars, jars, okay, then they will configure and finally apply test cases. Okay, so once the development process is complete, then it will deliver to ops team. This operations team will deploy our project on server, okay, then it will monitor, operate and monitor. Now to develop this project we can use different development models like Agile, Waterfall, okay, or Spiral. So you can use different development models. So if we go with this development models, if it is Agile, this model will take more time. So here the developer will try to deliver a complete project at once. Okay, so this waterfall model will take more time. But in this Agile model, we will divide the project into multiple units. Then we can deliver one by one module. Okay, then we can specify that this Agile model will simplify this development process. Okay, but the question is why this waterfall model will take more time. Okay, in waterfall model we have different development phases like requirement gather, design, implementation, verification and maintenance. Okay, so the developer will spend an amount of time to do all these phases. Okay, if you just see this scenario, I have a project, so I can develop this project with these two different models. One is like waterfall, another one Agile. In waterfall model, first I will gather my client requirements, I will design, then develop project, test it, then deploy. So in this case I will try to deliver a complete project at once. Okay, so in my project I have sales, employee, stock and multiple modules. Okay, so in waterfall model I will try to deliver a complete project at once. Okay, so this process will take more time. Okay, so in case I started this process in the month of Jan and I delivered in the month of December, so approximately it will take 1 year to complete this project. So the client have to wait for 1 year. But if you go with this Agile model, I will deliver a first module. I said sales is my first module. So first I will gather the requirements for the sales module. I will design it, deploy, develop, test and I will deploy it. Okay, so I will develop my sales module within a specific period. Okay, then I will deploy it. I will call this development period as a scrum. So a scrum is one development cycle in Agile. Okay, so in this Agile model we can have multiple scrums. Okay, so I will develop my sales module, then I will deliver it, then I'll go for employee module, I will deliver, then I will go for stock module, I will delivered. So the agile process can have multiple scrums. The question is, what is scrum? A scrum is one shorter development cycle. A scrum is a shorter development cycle. So in agile model we can have multiple scrums. Okay, if you just observe these two models, in waterfall model we can have a single deployment, but in agile model we will have multiple deployments. Okay, now this agile model will always concentrate on continuous development. If you see this agile cycle, it will always concentrate on continuous development. Okay, if you have different models in our project, I said one is like a sales module. Okay, I will just design this module, design the sales module, I'll build, configure, test and release it. Okay, then I will take my next module like employee module. I will do the same phases. I will design this employee module. Okay, then I will build in the sense I'll just compile it. I'll prepare package, then I will configure, test and release. Okay, so if you observe this agile model, there is a continuous development. Okay, so in agile we can have multiple development cycles. Okay, but in agile model we have a limitation. That is, the agile model will concentrate or will focus only on development. Okay, but it doesn't includes operations. Okay, so we know this, a project can have these two different phases. One is development and next one operations, dev and ops. Okay, so this agile model will concentrate only on development, but it doesn't include operations. Now we have a requirement to deliver the cycle towards operations. Then we can get a new development cycle like DevOps. Okay, so in this DevOps cycle we have a continuous development, and continuous operations. Okay, so then we can define the DevOps is combination of development and operations. Okay, so if you take one scenario, I'll take one module, I will plan for that module, then I will code, I will design it, I will build, test it, deploy, operate and then monitor. So there is a continuous development and continuous operations. Okay, so if we see a simple definition for DevOps, DevOps is combination of development and operations. It's a combination of software development and operations. Okay, it is melding, in sense combining of these two disciplines. What are two disciplines? One is development and other one operations. Okay, so DevOps is combination of these two disciplines, development and operations, in order to improve communication, collaboration and integration between traditionally separate developer and operations teams. Okay, so we will improve communication, collaboration and integration between development and operations teams. Okay, so we can define a DevOps is a new platform or else is a new culture. In this new culture, both development and operations teams will work together. Okay, so with this DevOps we can improve communication, collaboration and integration between dev and operations teams. Okay, Now we can see what are the new goals for DevOps, or else what are the advantages of DevOps. If you see these advantages, one is improve deployment frequency. Improve deployment frequency. That is, a project can have multiple deployments. A project can contain multiple deployments. In our earlier waterfall model, we may have a single deployment, but in Agile model, we can have multiple deployments. If you see this case here, in waterfall model, here I have a single deployment, but in Agile model, a project can have multiple deployments. Okay. So which one is preferable? A single deployment or multiple deployments? Yeah, definitely multiple deployments. If you have multiple deployments, the client will get early market. If you see this case here, I started my process in the month of Jan and I delivered in the month of December. So my client will wait for 1 year. But to go with this Agile model, I will start my process in Jan and delivered in the month of March. So within 2 months, I delivered my sales module. So my client will get business within 2 months. So my client will get early market. Early market. And one more thing, here chances of failures are less. The chances of failures are less. Okay. So in case of waterfall model, we will try to deliver a complete project at once. Okay. But in Agile, we will deliver a part. So here the chances of failures are less. If you just see this advantages, see the statements here. Improve deployment frequency. So instead of one deployment, you can go for multiple deployments. And one more thing, achieve faster time to market. Yes, our client will get early market. And next one, lower failure rate of new releases. That is, chances of failures are less. We discussed that. Okay, so we are not releasing complete project. We are releasing only a module. So chances of failures are less. And shorten lead time between fixes. We can easily fix that issues. Okay, because we have a limited code, so we can easily fix that issues. And improve mean time to recovery. So even my application is crash, I can easily recover it. Okay. So all these are different goals for DevOps. Then how to achieve these goals? So in DevOps, we have different tools for development and operations. Okay. I will just classify this DevOps tools into two different types. One is the tools for development and tools for operations. Okay. See these tools here. Here we have tools like SVN, Git, Ant, Maven, Selenium, JUnit, Puppet, Chef, Ansible, okay, Jenkins, Nagios. So we have multiple tools here. So I will just classify these tools. One is the tools for development and tools for operations. Okay. So here the developers will develop some source code. Okay, if you have a team of developers, so the developers will develop some source code. That code we can store into repositories. Okay, so we can use some repositories like Subversion or Git. Okay, so the dev team will develop the source code and they will store their code into repositories. Okay, here I have a team of developers like developer 1 or developer 2. Okay, we have multiple developers. They will develop some source code. Okay, their code I can store into either SVN. Here SVN is a centralized version control system, and go with this Git. Git is a distributed one. Okay, so my team will store their code into a repository. Okay, So once they do coding, then we have to build it. Okay, see these phases here. One is like planning, then we can do code. Okay, once coding is done, then we have to build the code, we have to compile the code, and we have to prepare packages. Okay, here we have some build tools like Ant, Maven, okay, Gradle. So these tools will compile our source code and prepare packages. So if it is Maven, Maven can get this source code and it will compile it. Okay, so once we build this project, once we got some var files, then we have to apply test cases. So here we can use the tools like Selenium or JUnit. Okay, then we can develop or we can apply our test cases. Okay, if you see these phases here, one is the code development, next one code build, and then applying test cases. Okay, once a project is developed, then we can deliver the application towards operations team. Okay, so at this operation side, we will use different configuration management tools. Okay, we will use different configuration management tools. The question is, what is role of configuration management? If you have multiple servers, all these servers can manage by this CM tools. Okay, so in my case, I have multiple servers. Okay, so in all these servers, I have to install some packages. I have server 1 and server 2. Like this has some multiple servers. I said I have nearly some 100 different servers. In all these servers, I want to install some Java package or else some Tomcat, MySQL. Okay, so different packages I want to install. Okay, so the tools like Puppet, Chef, Ansible, SaltStack will do this job. Okay, if you just see this configuration management tools, first they can install packages and they can deploy applications and they can do configurations and they will do service management and they can do file management and they will do user management or group management and host management. Okay, so this configuration management tools will perform multiple tasks. I said one is package installation. Yes, we can install packages for multiple servers. I said if I have some 100 different servers, in all these servers I can install some packages. Okay, then I can do application deployment. Yes, we can deploy applications on multiple servers and then we can do configurations. Okay, so we can configure the application on multiple servers, then we can do user management, file management, so we can create multiple files or multiple users. Okay, so this configuration management tools can maintain multiple servers. Okay, here every CM tool will have its own scripts. If you go with this Puppet scripts, I will call Puppet scripts as manifest. Okay, so Puppet scripts I'll call it as what? Manifest. And Chef will have its own scripts, so I'll call the Chef scripts as like cookbooks. And if you go for Ansible, Ansible can have its own scripts. Ansible scripts we can call it as playbooks. Okay, that is every CM tool will use its own scripts. Okay, the Puppet scripts like manifest and the Chef scripts like cookbooks and Ansible scripts like playbooks. Okay, the thing is how to develop this Puppet manifest. Here Puppet uses a scripting language like DSL. DSL stands for Declarative Domain Specific Language. And Chef uses a language like Ruby. With the help of Ruby, we can develop cookbooks. And to go for Ansible, Ansible uses a scripting language like AML, or it can also use Python. Okay, so here Puppet uses DSL. DSL stands for Declarative Domain Specific Language. With the help of DSL, we can develop manifest. I said manifests are Puppet scripts. And next one, Chef. Chef can have some cookbooks. We can develop the cookbooks with the help of Ruby scripting language. And Ansible can have playbooks. The playbooks can develop with the scripting language like AML. AML stands for At Another Markup Language. Okay, and even we can use Python. Okay, that is, every CM tool, every configuration management tool will have its own scripts and scripting languages. Okay, with the help of scripts, we can manage multiple servers. In the sense, we can install packages, we can deploy applications, we can do configurations, and we can manage services, we can manage users, groups, and hosts. Okay, then we can go for monitoring tools. So we have different tools for monitoring like Sensu, Nagios, New Relic. So we have multiple tools for monitoring. So here Nagios is one of this famous monitoring tool which can monitor our server infrastructure. The question is how Nagios can monitor all these servers. In Nagios, we have a server, a Nagios server. You can call it as a Nagios core. Okay, and here we can have a Nagios agent. So what agent will do is, will gather node information. That information it will always deliver to Nagios server. Then server will recognize the node information, it will analyze it. If it found any issues, then that information will deliver to concerned team. Okay, so in Nagios we have two core components. One is Nagios agent and Nagios server. So in this case, we will install Nagios agent on multiple nodes. Okay, so here we have different tools for source code repositories, and we have tools for build like Ant or Maven, and we have some test cases. Then we can use some configuration management tools, and then monitoring tool. Then we have to integrate all these tools with the help of Jenkins. I'll call Jenkins as a CI/CD tool, that is continuous integration and continuous deployment tool. Okay, the question is, what is continuous integration? What Jenkins will integrate? Jenkins will integrate the source code repositories. If you go for these developers will add their code into source code repositories. Then we have to pull the code from repository. Okay, so the Jenkins can get the code from repository. Okay, then we have to build the code with the help of build tools. Okay, then we have to apply test cases. So Jenkins is a tool which can integrate the source code repositories, which can integrate the builder tools and test cases. Okay, so is what continuous integration, and then continuous deployment. So once we integrate all these tools, then we may get some result files like VARs or jars, ERs. The files we can deliver to configuration management tools. Okay, these tools can deploy the application on multiple servers. Okay, the tool like Puppet, Chef, or Ansible, it will deliver the application on multiple servers. So you can observe here there is a continuous integration and continuous deployment. Okay, so here Jenkins we can call it as what? CI/CD tool. Now in DevOps we have some additional tools. One is like Docker, a tool like Docker, and Vagrant, and we have a tool like HAProxy, and we have a tool for GitLab, and we have a tool for Nexus. Okay, so if we go with this one by one tool, here Docker is a tool for containerization. Docker is a tool for containerization. So if you want to create containers, if you want to create some lightweight instances, then we can use Docker. So a Docker will play a major role during development, okay, and testing this application. And Docker will help us for rapid application development process. And in Docker, we can have different concepts like Docker Compose, Docker File, Docker Swarm. Okay, so we can see one by one tool in Docker, and one more tool like Vagrant. So Vagrant is a tool to create virtual machines. So if you want to create some virtual machines, we can use a Vagrant. Okay, and we have one more tool like HAProxy. I'll call HAProxy as a load balancer. Okay, here HA stands for high availability proxy, is a load balancer. So this load balancer will distribute the workload across multiple servers. Okay, if you have some 100 different servers, this workload will distribute across multiple servers with HAProxy load balancer. Here we have one more tool like GitLab. Okay, so a GitLab is a private repository. It's a private repository. Actually, we have a GitHub. Okay, through GitHub we can create multiple public repositories. So in GitLab we will create a private repository, then we can maintain our source code. And we have one more tool like Nexus. I'll call Nexus as artifact repository manager. Nexus is an artifact repository manager. So the question is, what is artifact? If you see this one, artifact is a project. Artifact is a project. If you take any project, a project can have multiple versions. Okay, a project can have multiple versions. I will call all these projects as artifacts. Okay, if you take a project like some DevOps, I said a project like DevOps, this project can have some different versions or different snapshots, like some 1.0 or DevOps 2.0. Okay, it can have some multiple snapshots here. So all these versions I can store, I can manage in Nexus repository. So Nexus is an artifact repository which can store our snapshots. Okay, here what is artifact? Artifact is a project. So all these project versions I can maintain it Nexus. So we have some additional tools. I said one is like Docker for containerization, Vagrant is a tool to create virtual machines, and HAProxy is a high availability proxy, is a load balancer, and GitLab is a private repository, so we can set our own repository. Nexus is a tool for artifact repository manager which can store our artifacts. Then we have some cloud concepts like AWS, Amazon Web Services. Okay, or else you can go for Google Cloud Services, and we can go for Microsoft Azure. Okay, so we can get cloud services with these concepts. So in this course we are going to cover different cloud services. Okay, so in Amazon we will see how to create EC2 instances, and how to create virtual private cloud, and how to create some elastic load balancers, S3 buckets, storage buckets. Okay, so we are going to discuss multiple concepts in this AWS, and we can see like how to create some Google Cloud instances or Azure Cloud instances. Okay, so in this DevOps course, so we have different tools for development, the code development, and we have different tools for operations, and we have some tools like Docker, Vagrant, HAProxy, GitLab, Nexus, and even cloud concepts. Okay, so in this course I will discuss even some Linux commands and shell scripts. Okay, we can see even some Linux commands and shell scripts, so it will play a major role in DevOps. Okay, so thank you.